Welcome back, everyone. I'm Gareth with Off the Shelf. We've got a highly requested feature that's finally been implemented. You can now import parts from a CSV file. So if you're just getting started with Off the Shelf and maybe you've got some spreadsheets where you keep all of your part details, or you had another MRP system that you're transitioning out of, now you can bring those parts right into Off the Shelf through a easy spreadsheet format. Let me show you how simple it is. So here I've got a Google Sheet with some part information. I've got a bunch of different columns. I've got the part name that I'm calling part, manufacturer, the price, notes, stock quantity, the vendor where I buy these parts, and the order SKU I use when I'm buying them. And then a model number, that's maybe the manufacturer's model number. These are all of the columns that you can lay out. And when you make the CSV file, you want to make sure that the first row is the header column. And at very least, you need a column for the part name, and you can call it whatever you want, part name, name. The rest of these, it's just as much of the data as you want to bring into Off the Shelf, we'll take it. So from here, I'm going to export this as a CSV file. And that'll download. And now if I go to Off the Shelf, I can go over to my parts page. And here you can see I've got a brand new account. I've got no parts in it. And I just click the Import Parts button. And I want to choose that CSV file that I just downloaded. So let me go to my downloads. And there's my CSV file. And now I'm going to upload it. Now, when I hit this upload button, nothing really happens except that the file goes up to the server and we read it in, but it's not actively importing any parts yet. Because what you need to do now is tell Off the Shelf what all those columns are. So what's your part name column? All right, well, we had it just part, the manufacturer column. I'm going to choose manufacturer, the model. There's the model number is how I labeled it in the CSV, stock quantity notes, the primary vendor, I just had it called vendor, and the primary vendor SKU, I just had it called, I think, order SKU, there we go, and then the cost, and there I had it labeled price. So you can see that the names don't have to match up between Off the Shelf and your CSV. You just tell it how to match it for you. And then I've got all of them here, and you can see a little sample of what Off the Shelf is going to interpret these as. If you have any columns that you don't use, you can just leave those blank. So if I didn't have, well, probably had a vendor, well, yeah, maybe I didn't have a vendor. Take the vendor out, right? And then you can see those disappear from the sample. We'll add them back in because I actually do want those. But my point really just being, you don't have to have all of it in there. The only required field is part name. Now we import parts, and it tells us 8 parts successfully imported. And those are all the ones that did. None of them failed to import, but if you had any that had trouble parsing, those would show up here, and you could go fix those, and then you hit done. So what's a common reason for the parts to fail? Well, it's if the names already exist. So you can't have 2 parts with the same name in Off the Shelf. And an easy way to see this in action is let's just try to import all of those again. And this time none of them should import because we already have parts with those names. We'll upload, and I'll just go just the part name this time, just so we can see it quickly. We'll try to import the parts, and there you can see it didn't import any of them. So if you do this step and you get a few that failed to import, it'll show up here, and that's a good time for you to go back to your CSV file and see if maybe you have some duplicate part names. And then you want to rename any of the duplicates, or maybe they were honest to God duplicates that shouldn't come in. All right, that's all there is to it. I hope that's useful to you guys, and we'll see you next time.